What else can you say about your leadership style in terms of like your approach? Because understanding a lot about your history and like really like seeing how that carries into your leadership style today, what goes into, you think, making you as a great leader and your approach?
One of the things that, has always stuck with me, and that I will also credit back to my mom, is that even in tough moments and, when I was running for the first time in 2014, for school board trustee, it was, it had never been my biggest ambition to run for elected office, but there was a really critical moment at that time about leadership at our school board level, right? And that I have such a deep and abiding commitment to public education and to making sure that that pathway to equity and equality and opportunity is something that is championed and strengthened. And what I was seeing in my community was no one stepping up to take on that challenge. And it was a challenging moment at the school board. And, with a lot of encouragement and a lot of conversations with people I loved and whose opinions I respected, I did put myself forward to run for that role. And it was it ended up being a really challenging campaign. I had a really targeted pushback against, me in that, taking up that opportunity. And in, work that I had done, as someone who was deeply committed to equity and human rights. And, I remember calling my mom in one of the toughest moments to, just kind of like share that with somebody and to hear, what advice she might have for me. And she said, Ausma, this kind of work, you have to have a thick skin. And I was like, that's right. That's a
Thanks,
real
Mom.
tough love. And she said to me, and you have to remember you're not alone. And I think that that's really important, that commitment to a community and being alongside people who share your values, right?
Yeah.
And the things that you're fighting for. And that's something that I've continued to take forward, is that you always have to be working together, right? And it's one thing that I really love about municipal government.
Yes.
and being elected first at the school board and now at city council, is that, of course, I show up with my values, my politics, my commitments. That's not a secret to anybody. And I know my colleagues do as well.
Yeah.
But at the municipal level, in a space that is not constrained by, formal political parties, we do have to look at the priorities of our community and figure out ways of working together.
Yeah.
Figure out ways to getting to solutions, negotiating, sticking with it to get to the best outcome. And that is what is really powerful about the city level of government and what the opportunity that we have there.
Yeah.
And that has been even strengthened by the leadership of Mayor Chow and her election last year. And she's someone who I have known in my work in the past, and someone who has been a mentor and a friend, and now to be able to be working together as colleagues. And her commitment to collaboration is really incredible. So one of the things that I've been really honored to step into in this role, and since Mayor Chow was elected, is I chaired a committee called the Striking Committee. And so with new leadership at the mayoral level, that Striking Committee is where we have the opportunity to determine appointments for city councilors, right? So the standing committees and also the other agencies, boards, and committees that we get to sit on as city councilors. And the process around that is a lot of conversations. There's surveys where council members are able to express their interests and where their priorities are. And that is such an important process. And through that, I was able to see, Mayor Chow's real commitment and deep belief that everyone has something to offer and something to bring to the table, and it's about making sure that we are utilizing that in the best way possible. And that alignment to that approach, and when it comes to leadership, when it comes to getting things done, we are, and it doesn't mean that it's not challenging, right? It doesn't mean people won't have opinions that are divergent, but it does mean that we are there kind of using the best skills and expertise and approaches and priorities of everyone. And we've also seen that play out at the intergovernmental governmental level, right? With the federal government and the provincial government. And we know as a city, and especially the biggest city in the country, the engine of our economy in Canada, where we will need to collaborate with other levels of government. And what Mayor Chow has been able to do with that commitment to that collaboration, to sticking with it in terms of those conversations with other levels of government, she's been able to achieve agreements that previous mayors couldn't do for decades, right? And that is really incredible. And that means that we are able to tackle some of the biggest challenges that we have in the city.
Yes.
It will not be a secret to any of you or anyone who's paying attention in the city of Toronto that we have been in a real financial, in a very challenging position financially. And one of the pieces of that leadership and that collaboration with other levels of government is to get us back on track fiscally and to make headway on that because of that commitment to collaboration, negotiation. And we know when Toronto is doing well, we can do well as a province and a country. And that's been really cool to see in action and be a part of in terms of giving that commitment leadership.
Yeah.